Everyone. So, earlier today I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the sequel to the 2021 hit Ghostbusters Afterlife, and which also makes up the fourth main film in the series and the fifth one overall. Even, I will already admit, the discourse has already been pretty interesting so far, and I will say for the record that even though the other movies are very wildly in quality, I found something to enjoy in almost all of them, and one thing I can add about the reboot a while ago was I think a lot of us going to look back upon how we conducted ourselves in those days and say may have gone a bit far in places. Hint at another potential video maybe. And with that in mind, and even though I didn't quite enjoy this one as much as the last movie, I still consider it to be an enjoyable legacy sequel and a worthwhile testament to the enduring legacy of the franchise over its 40-year history and now the centennial Columbia picture itself, so let's begin. The main story picks up 2 years after the events of Ghostbusters Afterlife, with the Spangler descendants now being back in New York, and defying the obstinate Mayor Walter Peck, now played once again by William Atherton, and both old and new heroes must unite in order to combat the ancient threat Garaka, uh, who has a spectral death chill which have threatened to plunge the city into an endless winter. And I gotta say, while there are dark moments in there, it definitely leans in the horror aspect of the franchise, especially a they're relatively in tune with the other installments of the franchise, I would say. Where and even though I wasn't a huge fan of Gil Keenan's other work. I'm not gonna hold that against him. It's clear both he and Jason Reitman, who directed the last movie and co-wrote the script of this one, are immense fans of material. There are obvious Easter eggs and callbacks, like the incident in the public library, but also much more subtle ones that's been noted by a few who who pieces I skimmed that apparently has a lot of similarities to the real Ghostbusters cartoon, especially its earlier seasons, style and tone. I rather like that, which again kind of like how the last movie alluded to the video game from 2009 and its 2019 remaster. Implies that the event still happened, just maybe not the way we expected. So, and of course, some of the things carry over from the last movie, like the mini puffs, and also how they still want to try and eat each other. Much more morbid than Grogu or young Sonic, I would say. Hey, but also, like how I totally called it that Paul Rudd's character has more agency this time around, not just being like a goofy science teacher who shows his class inappropriate horror movies. Movies mean, or and also Finn Wolfhard's character has also gotten a bit more clever since the last movie. Not quite as much as characters in Stranger Things or the It duology, but close. And visually, looks quite good, I would say. It's another kind of situation where much like Mad Max Fury Road, a lot of recent Star Wars content, the last movie, and I guess now we can also add Barbie and Oppenheimer to the list, where whatever CG is used doesn't clash aesthetically with practical effects work, and it's I'm seeing very important the exact figure, but it's clearly a bit pricier than the last movie was. You see a bit of that money on the screen. It's definitely a lot more costly to bring in both legacy actors and new cast members and a film in New York than it is just to have them in supporting roles and film in Oklahoma or wherever standing in for it. Yeah. On the whole, I've also noticed that audiences are a bit more kinder to it than reviews have been. But even the positive ones I've scrubbed through, I have seen movies the effect of, if this isn't your thing, you need not apply, and if it is, you know what you're in for. Certainly did. It's been on like a Ghost Icy. It wasn't the mystery flavor. was a mixture of Boo Blue Raspberry and Ecto One Cherry Red. And I mean, and also just how a lot of allusions to similarities between like the Ghostbusters and actual firefighters, not just the fact originally working title was Firehouse before I guess that name would be too difficult to trademark. I mean, and I'm not gonna get too spoilery, but it actually did a lot of things that I would not expect that haven't been seen in franchise before. Or I mean, and also suggesting it was connected. Like it's not the first time the franchise made allusions to real life phenomena, like how the original movie of the Tunguska blast as well. Oh, I mean, this isn't gonna be seen with everyone, but if you type, in my case, if you type Tunguska into Google, the Ghostbusters one is often like he one of the main results, and that's also why I ended up doing the cartoon nostalgia right before this movie, because despite what some people might say otherwise, it is clear to me that the brand still has multi-generational appeal. Even people who are not born in the time the original ones came out have an affinity for them, and it definitely is a lot can be done. And on the whole, I think it makes a nice, chilling, spooky treat. Not only laying the foundation for its future, but also honoring its past. I mean, I don't know about another movie right away, but I'm keeping an eye on this cartoon's coming on Netflix, which is progressing pretty well, all things considered. So I give this like a nice and spooky 4 out of 5, like 3 out of 4, and now on to coming attractions. Let's start with the one that's coming out right away, Godzilla Cross Kong, The New Empire, March 29th. I finally got my tickets. It's as for the first showing on Friday, and it's still one I'm highly anticipating, and even with the DC universe being rebooted after the DC Extended Universe experiment, it's clear the Toho Monsterverse still has pull, and definitely looking forward to seeing what all is going to happen and what other Titans might enter the brawl. Oh, I mean, all since and Wingard expressed interest in doing more, and I'm kind of interested in how both of he and the director of the now award-winning visual effects award-winning Godzilla Minus One are fans of each other's work. I mean, I may not be able to talk about that one since I have not been able to find a place where it's on digital yet. Maybe they haven't announced a date. But I do intend to have other videos related to both Godzilla and Kong this week. Count on that. Okay, so May 3rd, The Fall Guy, and no, it has nothing to do with that old TV show that some of you might have to Google. I think I might, at least. I mean, it's about a stuntman played by Ryan Gosling who gets caught up in not only a love relationship with his director, played by Emily Blunt, and having to replace as an actor which dies on set, but also getting caught up in some kind of over the top conspiracy. I mean, I'm probably not going to rush right out to see this one, but I'll keep an eye on it. I'm probably just going to watch Drive again first, which has a similar concept, but I'll be a bit more grounded. And I do like Ryan Gosling, and it also helps that, again, David Leitch definitely knows his way on an action film, being like the second unit director of the John Wick franchise, as well as making a few of his own movies as well. So I guess I'll wait and see what happens with this one. I'm also contemplating seeing like the 25th anniversary episode 1 re-release, and not just for the Acolyte preview either. May 10th, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and even though I've mentioned this before, it bears mentioning it again. I definitely am interested in this one as a fan of the previous installments in this continuity and how it's going to connect to the original films from the 60s and 70s. Yes, and I do intend to give the director benefit of the doubt for this picture, even if I'm not a huge fan of his previous work. Same with this Zelda movie he's working on. Hopefully, this goes well. And most of the similarities between this movie and Legend of Zelda, if you believe that. So let's continue. Okay, and Inside Out 2 on June 14th. Coming 9 years after the first film, which still has have a positive impact on both the audience and on Pixar. So, and I definitely think it's going to be one of the more organic sequels, kind of like how Joy now has to guide all the emotions through Riley's mind's eye. Much like how the Toy Story films often play with the concept of the first one. Especially the second would be my immediate example, where Buzz and the other toys had to save Woody, much as how Woody saved him. And on top of of anxiety, voiced by Maya Hawke, who has easily become like my spirit animal of sorts in this day and age, and not just because they're playing my favorite song in the trailer either, but also new emotions of envy, ennui, and embarrassment, who I shall call shame for short. And I also like how this builds upon an idea that was considered for the first film, but was ultimately unused. Who's because I think the character was named Gloom. I may have pointed this out before, but it was originally going to manifest in the absence of joy and sadness, but it was scrapped on the grounds that it would not reflect well on those who had mental illnesses, which ended up being their first of now multiple films that actually doesn't have a villain in a traditional sense. The closest they got was fresh memories of a terrifying birthday clown, but it was Riley's his inner workings that drove, and those around her that drove the conflict. And they actually used that to great effect with other works as Turning Red, and as well as the same director's own Soul. And even though Luca is facing headwinds in theaters because of the movie I just saw, I'm not going to take it personally. I gather there's going to be an encore presentation, hopefully more venues as well. All sense. And yeah, I'm not going to get too out there because I want to save my energy for what lies ahead this week. I definitely intend to make the most of the last 7 days this month. I don't know what kind of April Fool's joke we'll be pulling, if any, but it'll be something. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I'll say for now. And I'll see you all again soon. So, take care, everyone.